Let's talk apple farming in Kenya. And I want to talk about, and particularly, I also want to mention Wambugu apples. In my journey of research of apple farming in Kenya, I've realized a lot. So I was introduced to apple farming, to the Wambugu apple farming by my aunt, and I was curious how could apple possibly grow. And I know you are curious too, or wondering if truly apples can grow in Kenya. But that is a conversation that we've already passed. And I just want to let you know, in addition to Wambugu apples, there are many other varieties that are doing well in Kenya. So that is the Braeburn, Fuji, Wambugu, Anna, and many others that are also there. Uh, So a little backstory. Last year I did a video on what to look out for before planting Wambugu apples. And let me just say, you guys, you came gun blazing at me and I didn't understand why. First, I just want to clarify that I'm not hating on Wambugu apples. Really, I don't have a personal issue with Wambugu apples as a farm. They're great people. I've visited the farm and I was welcomed with utmost warmth and kindness. So the video was not about hating on Wambugu apples, but it was about solving real problems when it comes to commercial value. So this is just my personal story. So luckily for me, I was not doing it commercially. I had 3 trees. I got rid of 2 because of the issues that I was having. At the time, I thought it was a pest issue, only to come and realize later that it was more of a fungal issue at the time. So I wanted to try out in my homestead first. Yes, and see how they're doing. And of course, at the time when I made the video, I was new to gardening and homesteading generally. So there must have been a lot of mistakes that were done. But the issue was to find information on how best to solve the problems that I was having. Because if you're having a problem with a certain variety, then the best people to talk to are the owners of the variety. And I felt that I did not get the necessary help that I needed. And I was also not equipped with the necessary skills to do this on my own. Why is it a big deal that apples can be grown in the tropicals like Kenya, for example? The big deal is naturally apples require chill hours. These are period of cold season, like in the winter, that they can break dormancy and flower and fruit properly. So getting to know that you can actually plant apples in the tropics, or there are varieties that can do well in the tropics, is such a big deal. And yeah, that's why there's a lot of conversation and curiosity if even apple farming was a possibility. So another characteristics of apple that is really important or key to note is that most varieties are usually partially self-pollinating. So meaning they will pollinate, yes, but not fully. So they require another variety. And that's why varieties like Anna, you'll be told to plant it with golden dosette and all other these things to encourage maximum fruition. The reason why this is very important is to try and explain some of your concerns on why your apples are not are flowering and aborting or are not reaching full production level. So, with that background, let's dive into some of the lessons that I've learned about Wambugu apples. And question number 1: do Wambugu apples flower in 9 months? This will depend greatly. I don't. There are people who have said that trees flowers by 9 months. The first 3 trees that I planted flowered at about maybe 1.5 years. And yeah, that could be because I didn't know what I was doing or whatever, but that is just my experience. Another experiment that I did is that last year, January of 2025, I planted a new seedling, and all these seedlings I get from Laikipia. So I planted that just to manure it and give it everything else that I was supposed to do to watch it grow. But up to now, it has not flowered and it has not grown that much. So yeah, that is just my story. So if you planted Wambugu apples expecting some fruits by one year, my thinking is you should lower your expectations a bit and maybe expect your fruits from 18 months to 2 years. Will have some sort of commercial value. Or I know most plants don't give much fruit when they produce for the first time, but don't expect much until around 18 months or there. So this could vary, but it is just the average that I've seen. That is the realistic expectation. Myth number 2: is Wambugu apple self-pollinating? Most apples varieties are partially self-pollinating, meaning yeah, they may self-pollinate, yes, but not all of it. Not all the flowers will be pollinated. Some will be aborted due to lack of that pollination. So what I have learned, for you to be safe, I know there's a lot of things that have been said, and I don't think they're lies. Everybody has their own experience and opinion as much as I do. But my advice, because I started doing this for my I did this for my garden first so that I could test and see if this thing would have some sort of commercial value for me. From what I have learned, what I observed from the farms that I've visited, plant golden dorset for cross pollination. This will save you a lot in terms of headache. And the reason behind this is most apples, as I said before, are partially self-pollinating, and they need pollinators to be able to produce to maturity. And it is my sincere feedback that I think Wambugu apple is not backed by science on its pollination needs. From my experiment, I will just say plant the golden dorset, because some people claim that Wambugu apples and the Anna variety of apples are somewhat the same. I don't know how much this claim is true, but if that is true, then even Anna is usually cross-pollinated by the golden dorset. So just get that variety and you save yourself a lot of troubles. I mean, it is better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Are there other apples variety in Kenya? Oh yes, sure there are. In the process of my research, I've come across so many other varieties. There's the Braeburn, Fuji, Anna, Golden Dorset, and all these other varieties that exist and can do well in Kenya. Institutions like Calro do sell these fruits, and they're properly researched and they're well adapted to the Kenyan climate. I understand that a tree can grow literally anywhere when you mimic the condition in which it's supposed to grow in. And this means it's more of an exotic tree. So you have to take care of it. Yeah, like an exotic breed, and give it the artificial conditions it needs to thrive. On the other hand, most of these cultural varieties, they've been researched and adapted for the Kenyan climate. So there are trees that you can actually plant and don't um you can actually plant, and once they mature and are established, you can let them be. Maybe the caring is not as much as these other one that you have to irrigate constantly, do a lot of things constantly. That is not to say you neglect your plants, but you get what I mean. The other place where these varieties are sold is in JQuat. I think I know of JQuat and Calro at a very affordable price, because the seedlings there go for 300 shillings, which means if you're doing this for commercial value, it's even better for you. In fact, JQuat did so many follow-up calls. They gave me so many follow-ups just to establish how my apple trees were doing. And I, I felt that was thoughtful. And I also think they have some sort of guarantee that in case they give you the wrong type of seedlings, yeah, mistakes do happen. You have the guarantee that you can always get other seedlings. So these are some of the considerations you have to make before you invest in apple farming. Other farms, private farms that I've known of that and you can go and check them out, is it Eldoret Nursery? It is owned by a certain professor, I think, who is an expert in plants. So he has been doing a lot in that area, and there's evidence. You can go there and see actual actual trees, apple trees. You see, like the way in movie, see this a tree, an apple being a tree and not a bush. That's how it looks like. So you could visit his farm and see how he does. I think he still sell the seedlings at 1,000 shillings, but I mean, you'll get the proper guidance that you need from them. I also saw there's this guy online called Mwachamu, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So, in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is there's nothing wrong with Wambugu apples, but I feel for its commercial value, you really have to go way and beyond and not depend on the information you get from the farm. Because if today I have a product, if today I have a product, I will tend to sell the good parts of the product and maybe not talk so much on some things that need to be worked on. That is not to say that the product is bad, but I feel that they could research it more, back it with science, The same way when you go to Calro and you're told why you should plant Fuji or Braeburn or whatever other variety that you'll be given, they tend to advise you. If you're planting in Kajiado, please use this. If you're planting this other side, do that. Because as much as trees can do well everywhere, I'm so sure there are ideal conditions that best suit certain plants, and there, yeah, and there are supporting reasons as to why. So hopefully this video was beneficial to you. Yeah. And before I go, let me just talk about my harvest. I can literally count the number of apples that I harvested from my 3-year-old tree. And partly because there is no cross pollinator. So this is something that you should really consider. All in all, I'm happy that I have an apple tree in my compound. It is always a starting point for most of my guests when they come. So it is a good to have, but do your research before you go fully commercial with Wambugu apples. Otherwise, I'm so grateful that you're here, and I hope this information is beneficial as well. So if you have any concerns, any questions, feedback, kindly comment down below so that I can also get to know your thoughts. I've still not gone with apples commercially, but hopefully I will after doing my research and deciding on the varieties that I would want to grow. Thank you.